Hey guys, in this tutorial, we're going to be building this card component. It's called the article preview card component. And if you need the images, as you can see here, and a bunch of other assets, the link will be in the description down below. So let's quickly get started with a blank index or HTML file. Is blank. I have not edited anything at all. I'm going to click on go live. Anything. Yeah, I'm going to click on go live. So it's going to open this in the browser, and we can see what we get here. This text. And by the way, if you have not subscribed, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this. Okay. So let's quickly put this on the left hand side. Oh, sorry. Let's quickly put this on the left hand side so we exactly know how to build our HTML. First of all, we're going to have a container. Inside here, we're going to have a card. So the card is inside the container. I'm going to remove the sidebar. You can see that it's separated into two places, the left and right. So we're going to say left, and we're going to say right. And by the way, I think the left will be a background image. So you can see it has this text, and it's going to be a H3. This is the text. And the remaining one is going to be a paragraph. Where it gets a little bit complicated is at the bottom. First of all, before we continue, this text is broken. It's broken at some percentage. Like, see, in this Bible, we put a break tag here to break it. So break tag, and it's broken again at 2. So here there's a break tag again. Okay. So what we're gonna do here at the bottom, we're gonna have this little container here. So we're gonna say image container. So we're gonna have the image dot / images avatar Michelle, and we're gonna have the text, and the text is gonna be in its own container. So this is all just so we can use flexbox to properly align it. And if flexbox is a little bit too over your head, it's not really hard. I have made a video on 7 CSS skills to skyrocket your CSS skills, so make sure to check that in the link down below, in the description down below. So let's continue. What we're going to do here is we're going to have a text. Let's call this text container, and it's going to have a h4 over this text. Cut this, paste this here, paragraph, and we could put everything here. Save, and if you come here, you can see everything perfectly. So let's put it side by side. Okay, we can remove this now. Now what we have to do now is link this to a CSS file. Okay. Style.css. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is I want to target our container. We're going to give the container a display of, guessed it, flex justify content center. You could do this on the body, but sometimes you might want to do this because you might have multiple contents on the page. The reason why we have to give it mean height because divs by default have a 100% width, but they don't by default, they don't have a full height. Even the body doesn't even have a 100% the full height by default. The card, we want to give the card a width of we'll come to this in a minute. We want to give it a display of flex. I'm not sure that is working properly. Want to give the card a display of flex, and the reason why we're having put in the left image. So left image, I said it's going to be a background image. We're going to use a width of maybe 400 pixels, height 200 pixels, background should be URL dot forward slash images, and it's going to be draws.jpg. So there's a lot of things that we have to do here. First of all, let's tackle this big image. So image with 100%, oh sorry, 50 pixels. And by the way, this image, when we say image, is not affecting this guy because this guy is actually a background image, so it's not going to really affect this guy at all. And we're going to give the card a width of let's look at the card here. Let's give it a width of 600 pixels. Why this guy is going to have a width of 200. Maybe not height 300 pixels, and we have to assign some properties here. Background size cover, background repeat, no repeat, background position center. Let's give this width 50% and let's see how that works out. Let's move this to the top. So it's kind of looking like a mess, but we'll fix it in a second. So what we have to do now, we have to target the right. The right is not supposed to be longer than the left div. So we're going to give this width 60% and we're going to give this a width of 40%. Then as for the height, we want it to be 250 pixels because I think 300 is too much. Then let's control this guy. This section is causing an overflow. So text container, actually it's not in text container, it's an image container. Image dash container display flex spy content center. Okay, no, not center. That we don't need just spy content here. Align items center. And what's happening here is that the H4 is exacting its own margin here. And what we might want to do is just say cancel out all the margin on every single element, box sizing, border, box. Nicely done. So just have a couple of work to do. First of all, on image container, we might want to give it a margin of like a margin top of about 40 pixels or maybe even 50 pixels. This paragraph, we want to give the paragraph a margin from this. And by the way, let's also give everything a font family of sans serif. We are supposed to use a custom font, but we'll get that in a minute so that it looks a little bit better. The right paragraph, and remember there's a paragraph inside here, so we have to be careful with what we're selecting. So we want to select this paragraph. We just give it class of main dash content. Okay. So what we want to do here, margin top 20 pixels. Okay, desktop design. And we have to attach a background to the body because that's not the default background for the body. So we're gonna come here. Light grayish blue. Let's try light grayish blue. Okay. That's the color, background color, white. As you can see, this is still causing up an overflow. Let's comment the margin out. And if we remove that, we have no overflow. Maybe margin 50 pixels was a bit too aggressive on that side. But what we have to do is that we also have to give this section of the card a padding, which is here. We can just say padding 20 pixels. Sorry, let's remove that width 60 pixels is very important. We cannot remove that. Padding 20 pixels. And again, if we give it too much padding, it's going to affect this side of it. So we have to control the padding that we give it. So we only have to give it padding from the left, top, and the side. We don't want to give it padding from the bottom because that's going to affect us. So we're going to say padding top 20. Oh, let's just give it on the left and right. Padding left 20. And as well, we want to give the H3 here some margin top. So H3 margin, or let's make it 10 pixels rather. And as okay, we're going to remove that share. We're not going to do the share. And as for the text container, we can give the text container some margin itself. So text dash container margin left 20 pixels, or rather 10 pixels. And remember, we have to space them here. So say the only H4 on the page, give it a margin bottom of 5 pixels. Nice. And we have to give this guy a border radius. So the only image on the page is as well. We say width, or rather border radius 50%. 50%. Sorry, 50%. Nicely done. Nicely done. And the card though, where's the card? We want to give this a border radius of 20 pixels. Let's check the original design. I haven't put it here. We also have to give it border radius here as well. And I think we should increase the width of the card. So we can make the card 700 pixels in width. That shouldn't change anything. Border radius 10 pixels. I think it's 10 pixels. And as for the image, we want to give it border. We don't just want to just give it border radius anyhow. We want to target it top left radius 10 pixels. Copy paste and border bottom. So here and here essentially. And the text is not actually dark. The text is kind of gray. And you can see that these guys, they have some margin bottom as well. But we'll get to that in a second. The text is actually kind of gray. So let's do that quickly. So say color. We'll give it this light grayish color, I think. And now we can't see anything. So I don't think it's that color. I think is let's try desaturated blue. Desaturated blue. And it's still, it looks like it, but it's a little bit too light. Let's try very dark blue. I think this is it. So what we just have to just do to make it look a little bit more pixel perfect, to give it a margin bottom of here and apply the correct font. So that's why it might be looking a little bit strange to me. So the image container, we want to give it a margin. Let's, instead of giving it margin bottom, instead of giving it margin bottom, you can just reduce the amount of margin top we are giving 10 pixels. That's going to automatically take that up there. So what is severely missing is for us to apply the correct font. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to the internet and apply the correct font in a minute. So what we're just going to do to finalize the project, we're just going to get the final font. So I'm going to click on this link so that we get the final font. We put everything and everything looks pretty nice, because with this font, you never know what looks like what. So to get a font is from Google Fonts is dead easy. Remember, is this link which is in the style guide. So what city? So we need 500 and 700, huh? So we'll click on 500 and we'll click on 700. Okay. By this one, these ones, we don't need these ones. You're probably not going to see this one. This is from the previous fonts I've used. Okay. So what we want to do, copy the import. Copy and also copy this, how to apply it. So what we do, come to our CSS. We're going to paste this, then come to the top to paste what we first copied, which is here. So give it a second to get that font. So refresh. Okay, everything's skipping, but just give it a second. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but it hasn't quite gotten the font yet, so please be patient. At the console, let's see if we have any errors, any network errors as well. Okay, this is what it's doing. We're giving everything font, family, sans serif important. So let's remove that style rule. Save it and hand. So this is how it looks. This is how it should look. And by the way, we'll fix our margin and stuff. This is how it's supposed to look. And the final thing remaining is that when it's on a mobile, guys, when it's on a mobile viewport, if we click here, it should change. That's just what is remaining, and that should be very easy now since we have the font. Able to change this to margin bottom, and we'll give this a margin top as well, so that the main content. Okay, looks good. We also give it a margin top as well. Or rather, instead of giving margin top, we'll give it H3. Copy paste. I know it's kind of repetitive, but doing it like this gives you full control over the margin properly. Gives you full control, and the image is not taking up its full height. So let's come to the image, give it 300 pixels or 270 pixels. Okay, now it's taking the full height. So what we just have to just do when we get to a small device, we just have to just change the flex direction, which is dead easy. One line of code, media query. This code will run when the device is less than 768 pixels. What we want to do is target the card with 100% flex direction colon. What that would do, by default, the flex direction is row, but it's going to change it to colon. And what we want to do, we want the image to take the full width. So left with 100%, right with 100%. So that should fix everything up, and it does. Okay, so to fix what's going on here with the paragraph, is just a bit of margin problem. So to fix it, let's go to 275 because this is what we are looking for. So to fix this problem as well as the border radius, what we want to do is I want to come to our main content. The main content. What we want to do here is I want to give it a width of 90%. Okay, so that should fix it up, but the border radius is supposed to be on the top in mobile, so let's change that. So where we're giving the left border radius here, let's change it. So I want to override it here. So it wants to be bottom, top, left, and top right. Let's save this and see how this looks. And border bottom radius, bottom left radius 0 pixels. So that should remove that and take it to the top. Okay, as you can see. Okay, we have built this layout component in under 20 minutes or so. So as you can see, it expands into this, and when we go down, it shrinks into something like a mobile device. But it's still not perfect though, because there's still something I want. I don't like giving the card 80% width, 100% width, or yeah, because let's give it 95% width. Okay, now it is perfect. Just so that there's some space at the edge of the phone screen. We don't want it to just be compact. So at 375, it looks pretty good. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Let's go.